Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've made it to episode 3. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So for this episode, just like the title says, you're going to tell me what to read. I want you to pick your number one book that you love and that you would recommend to anyone, and I want you to leave it down in the comment section below. All you got to do for this is be subscribed to the channel and then leave a comment with the title of the book and the author, and I'll leave that comment section open for 3 days. After 3 days, I'm going to take note of book recommendations there are, and I'll order them. And the nice part about this is because I'm so early on in my reading career, I've read less than 50 books. So the chances are good that whatever you recommend is something that I haven't read. If I have read it, I'll comment back that I have read it, and you could just give me another recommendation. And I'll also let you know what I thought of that book. I was able to find an app that will take a random number. Say I have 35 comments. I can plug in 35 and it will randomly select 9 numbers of that 35. And 9 I think is going to be a perfect number because that's a good number. I mean, that is a lot of reading to do in 1 month. And I did think of what would happen because I know I have a couple of fantasy people that like fantasy subscribe to my channel, and I have Stephen King fans subscribed, and I'm hoping that they don't really like Brandon Sanderson because some of his books are 1,200 pages long. Same thing with Stephen King, but it is what it is. I do want to try new genres, and I want to try everything. So far, the longest book I've read is All the Colors of the Dark, and that was 600 pages. So if your favorite book is It by Stephen King, then I'll read the It. And I also wouldn't be opposed to Brandon Sanderson because eventually I am going to get to that. And I've just started reading some fantasy books, and I've really enjoyed them. Whatever book I find that I like the best, I'm going to replace King of Vodka up here, and that book will be on display for the year. And the cool thing about this is, yeah, you can recommend me your favorite book, and it could become my favorite book of 2025. And even if it's not my favorite book of 2025, if it's a 5-star read, it's going to get credit at the end of every video that I do, because I show right now I think it's still We Begin at the End is my favorite book so far of 2025, and then I also list all my 5-star reads, and I've only had one other one, the Giver of Stars. So there's plenty of room, and I'm really looking forward to this. I want some 5-star reads. And yeah, how cool would that be if the book that you recommend to me ends up on display for all of next year as book of 2025? If your book is not picked in this first round of 9, because I have no idea how many suggestions I'm going to get, just don't worry, I will eventually get to all of the everybody that comments something and subscribe. I'm going to get to your book eventually. And that's what's cool about what's going to be displayed here, is because that could change. Like this first 9, I might have a favorite book, and then the second 9, something might outdo that one, so you never know. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. And I feel like I'm in a bit of a slump. Like the last couple books I've read have been just 3-star books, and yeah, so give me some 5 stars. All right, I'm going to talk about one of my recent reads. It was called The Secret Lives of Booksellers and Librarians. This was written by James Patterson, and I gave this book a 4 stars. It was very good. Basically, it's just comprised of short stories from librarians and booksellers, and there's quite a few short. I mean, the book I think is over 400 pages, and one of the things I learned early on in the book that I really had no idea about this was that in order to be a librarian, you have to have a master's degree in library science. That's something I never knew. The majority of the stories had one common theme, and that was the joy that everybody got out of someone coming up to them and saying, hey, can you recommend a book to me? And the librarian or the bookseller would recommend a book, and then that person would come back like a week or 2 weeks later and say, oh my God, this was the best book. Can you tell me what to read next? And that's kind of why I'm doing this. That's my goal. I want to tell you about the good books that I read, and maybe it'll become your favorite book. And that's why it's kind of fun, this video, because I'm kind of reversing the roles. Like, I want to know what you read and see what I think about it. And that is a really good feeling. Hey, try this book out, and they just fall in love with it. So far with the channel, I mean, this is only episode 3. I'm happy with the views that I'm getting and the subscriber count, I know that it's going to take a long time, and you have to be patient with YouTube. And my goal, really my only goal, is to interact with the you guys that watch this video and comment on books and just go back and forth with recommendations. And so I'm really not concerned with the total number of subscribers. It's good. If it's going to take off, it'll take off. If not, I don't care. If it stays at whatever it is now, 30 or 40, that's fine with me too. As long as there's, you have good interactions, good recommendations, and just have fun. For this channel, those short-term goals would be maybe after a year to have 500 subscribers. And so I've been watching YouTube way before it was ever popular. I remember watching content creators that had less than 500 subscribers, and those same content creators now have over 1 million. I mean, I really think that YouTube has just taken off in the last 5 years, and it's just a great way to get your ideas across, what books to read across, and especially the book categories. I think those have really taken off. But I mean, it's really good. So as I follow those people that I subscribe to throughout their journey of creating content, I've always watched when they get to like 10,000, over 10,000 to 15,000 subscribers. And then when they get to that point, I would be like, dude, that's amazing. Because so growing up, where we used to go to hockey games, it was called the Civic Center, and that held about 15,000 people. And all I can picture is, imagine that stadium being full and they're just watching one person's content. Then to me, that was just mind-boggling. And I always thought in the back of my mind how awesome that would be to get to that point. And I've been wanting to do a channel for a long time, and I'm finally getting around to it. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but yeah, that would be an insane goal of mine, would be to get to 15,000 subscribers. That would be totally awesome. And while staying on the subject of libraries and librarians, one of the things me and my wife are looking to do, I don't know if we're going to do this yet, but we're thinking about going to our library in our county. So we're lucky. In our county, we have 14 libraries. They're not massive libraries. They're like little branch libraries, but we're thinking about how neat it would be to work there one day a week. And like, I don't want to be a librarian. I just want to be the person that puts the books away and pulls the what everybody has on reserve, or books that they have on hold. That's all I want to do. I think that would be pretty cool. And one of the good things about being a librarian or working at a library, I hear, is that they get a lot of advanced reader copies. And in case you don't know, an ARC, or advanced reader copy, is a book that's given out by the author or the publishing company beforehand, before it goes to the mainstream, just to get like feelers out there and to get hype for the book. I know a lot of the booktubers that I follow do get the ARCs, and I always thought that was so awesome, because a lot of the times they'll give you one of their books and it doesn't even have the cover art on it yet. So, and from what I've gathered, most of the time that's how the book is going to be. But I did read a case where they got so much feedback on a certain section of someone's book that it was changed before it got published. So, I mean, that would be really awesome. And then just touching on the subject of libraries. So behind me, you see our collection of books. And really, it's only a collection of books until it gets to 1,000 books. When someone has 1,000 books in their collection, it's officially considered a library. So behind me, all these books, I think we have about 310 books right now. And out of all these books, I've only read 3. So in our libraries, we're so lucky to have this opportunity. We have friends of the library, and most of these books that you see, we've been able to get for $1. They have like little bookstores set up, and there are some really good titles. Like this one was $2, but minus the collection of Harry Potter, and we have some of the fantasy books here, and some of the old school, like Dracula, Frankenstein, those we purchased. But I'd say 95% of these books we're lucky enough to get for $1. And yeah, so we have a little over 300, and We usually go to the bookstore that's attached there every other week. So as the collection grows, you'll probably notice all these empty spots filled in. I'm also adding in my reading goals. That'll be in the end, those end credits when I tell you the favorite book of 2025 and 5-star reads. I'm going to enter my reading goals, and that comes from Goodreads. And I know I mentioned Goodreads last video. I will eventually get to explaining Goodreads, but in case people don't know. But I set my reading goal at 140 books, which is, that's kind of a lofty goal, but I want that. If I don't make it, I don't make it, but I wanted something that's going to be like, wow, that's a lot of books. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. I believe right now I've just completed 13 out of the 140. So, and we're one month down, end of January already. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody's suggestions, and until next time, keep on reading.